Welcome again to SwillinGrog's wonderful world of beer. Once again, I'm joined by special guest reviewer Benelzebub, and we'll be reviewing an interesting brew this time around, Cave Creek Chili Beer, 4.2% alcohol by volume, brewed and bottled by Cerveceria Mexicana in Tecate, Mexico. Now, what more can I tell you about Cave Creek Chili Beer? Well, apparently it used to be brewed in Cave Creek, Arizona, thus the name. And a serrano chili pepper is hand-dropped into every bottle. So hopefully the camera can pick it up, but yes, I don't know. But Benelzebub is holding a serrano chili pepper in his hand. And shortly we will cut to a special feature showcasing Mr. Benelzebub's chili garden. How about we just cut to that now?
Sanchez, you might be interested in some of the chilies that I've been growing here.
I have, senor.
I will need a pointer to point them out to you. Okay, the first one we have here is the very famous Butjalakia from the region of Naga in northeastern India. It is purportedly the hottest chili in the world. Now, unfortunately, it's at the wrong end of the season. You can see that it's flowering here, but there's no chilies.
Very small chilies appearing.
Yeah. But due to the magic of television, I have prepared one earlier. So this is what a Butjalakia actually looks like when it's ripe. And you can't smell them at this point, but I would advise you not to eat that. Do not stick this in your mouth.
Would my face go as red as yours, senor?
It would indeed.
Excellent.
So this is our Butjalakia. Now, over here is a serrano. This is a serrano bush. It's a very low, scraggly looking thing, and this is what was in our chili beer that we're drinking right now.
That we're about to drink.
That we're about to drink right now. Now, this has also been battered around by the rain a little. You'll find that it's just a little bit on the going to go into regrowth kind of stage.
Is that full size? Do they grow longer than that?
They will grow to about that size.
Yep.
And so in other words, about another 3 or 4 mils on top of that.
And these are the chilies that are in those beers, and they're green, not the red ones.
Yeah, now they're green until they ripen, and then they go red.
And what's the difference between the red and the green ones?
Okay, they're green, they're not so hot, you can actually eat them green. But once they get red, they get this full strength.
So you'd be an idiot to eat a red one?
You could be. I would probably not recommend it, though. I think I do have one here in my pocket.
Don't try this at home, kids. Do not try this at home.
There it is. But that's not so red either. I'm sure
it's not red at all.
No, it's not red at all.
It's.
I wonder what happened to the red one.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out
later on in the program.
Yeah. Okay, moving right along. Now this here is an orange habanero.
It's green. It's not orange.
And that's because this is unripe. Now these ones you don't eat unripe. You actually wait till they go their full golden yellow colour, which is sort of like a greeny orange. Okay. These are quite hot. These are hotter than serranos.
And how long does it take to get from that stage to that beautiful orange stage right now?
It's about 6 weeks.
And would you eat that right now?
I wouldn't stick this in my face, no.
No, very hot.
No, very hot. They're beautiful flavour though when you're making a chili. A chili or a curry, these bring out wonderful kick and sort of sweetness. They're really aromatic and sweet chili, and it's not in the way you would describe sweet chili from Asia, like sweet chili sauce. It doesn't taste like that. It's just a very pinpoint hot chili.
Sounds wonderful. Have a go at one of those.
Now this one here is a red habanero. You can see that it's much larger.
One large one there.
See how much the fruit is much larger? And this is also green. Unfortunately, this has been battered by the weather, and it's not holding the fruit very well. Now, I just happen to have one here that you can see an example of. That's what an orange habanero looks like. Now, see, there's a great difference between orange and red habaneros.
Is there a difference in the heat?
Absolutely. The red habanero is quite mild, quite a lot milder than the orange habanero, and also the taste of it is sweeter. It's not as pungent.
Okay.
And so in heat rating, we would actually have the Jolokia up there, and the two habaneros and the Serrano like that. So it'll be hotter, not so hot, getting a little bit milder. But these are still hotter than jalapenos. Now, if we move along here, this is a kind of modern hybrid. This thing here is called an Inferno. Now, this one's an almost ripe one. See how they've got a proud stance to them? They actually sit up and sit proud, whereas most other chilies dangle.
Have you been fertilising that with Viagra?
Yes, I have actually. Now, it does look strikingly similar to our ordinary ornamental chili.
Yes, it does.
Okay, but you can see how it's been hybridised up. Now, there's three main species of chilies. They're all in the capsicum family. One's capsicum annuum, one's capsicum africans, and the other one's capsicum chinensis. Most of them are all some kind of interbreeding between each one of these. Now, so anyone who's familiar with these bird's eye chilies or ornamental chilies, they will turn a bright red and go kind of dry and wrinkly. They
well, we have some here that are starting to turn.
Starting to turn.
Yeah.
Now, most
there's
people
one that's very bright red.
Most people will know that these are quite a hot chili, but they have no real flavour. They're quite a bland chili. They only add heat. They don't add any flavour. And whereas the Inferno's got some flavour to it, and the Jolokias and the habaneros definitely have flavour to them. Over here, we've only got. Here we have. Here is a habanero. I mean a jalapeno, I should say. No, that's your classic jalapeno. And the jalapeno bush, once again, it's the wrong end of the season. It needs to regrow a bit. This is a jalapeno as well. And that's got your classic jalapeno shape. That's going to grow a little bit longer and a little bit fatter. And it's kind of, down the scale, it's not as hot as your Serranos. Now, here I have what I call my mystery chili, because someone gave me this chili bush to rescue as it was dying in their garden, and it's proliferated quite well. It has that proud stance like the Inferno and the ornamental chili. Now this one is actually quite fleshy and quite hot, and it's an interesting flavour. And I found these dry very well if you want to make dried chilies and flake them up for later use.
So what colour will this one be when it's ripe?
Quite a rich red. So they'll go right red as well. Okay. Now over here, let's continue this way for a little bit. Okay, this thing here is called a Diablo, and it's quite a big pepper. There's only some small ones on here at the moment. I shall have to try and find another one for a better example. But these grow into quite a long pepper that are good for stuffing. They're actually quite a mild chili. They do go red at the end of it. And they're mild enough to stuff and serve to people who are not really chili aficionados. There's another good stuffing chili that I happen to have here.
Is this a regional example, Ben?
No, that's a different chili altogether. I shall find one.
My apologies. I'm not a chili aficionado, apparently, because my face is not red.
And this is called a yellow hot wax. This is kind of like your traditional Hungarian chili. It grows a great big yellow chili. We don't have many on the bush at the moment, but I shall, through the magic of television, find you one in a minute. And that's very nice, mild chili, very good for stuffing once again. Now this one here, this is a cayenne pepper. For everyone who's ever seen cayenne pepper in a jar, wondered where it came from. It comes from the north of South America, somewhere around Venezuela and Suriname and all those funny fancy names they have up there. And it comes from a region called Cayenne, and that's why it's called cayenne pepper. And that's what it grows like. It grows these long, thin ones that sort of curl around a little bit. Now this is a bit of a throwback bush. This was chilies cross-pollinate really quite readily, and this was a cross-pollination between a Jolokia and an orange habanero, and it comes out with the look of a Jolokia, but it actually has the strength and flavour of a habanero. Okay, and okay, let's go this way. Now here's an interesting little fellow over here. This is called a Trinidad scorpion. Now they grow in a way that makes them look like they have a scorpion's tail. Can you see that?
Wow.
And they go a very bright blood red when they're mature. This one is not true to form, but it's getting close to the right colour.
Will they continue to mature now that they're off the bush?
Only a little bit, and they have a tendency to spoil if they're off the bush too green.
Yep.
You know, they need to be almost ripe. Then they'll ripen a little bit as you take them off. Now, these little fellows are supposedly as hot as this little fellow here, and there's a scale that's used. Here are some young ones. These are young Trinidad scorpions. There's a scale that's used. There's a scale that's used called the Scoville scale. Now, Mr. Scoville had worked out that if you get drops of pure water and keep on diluting your chili, it'll eventually get to the point of being exactly as like capsicum with no heat in it whatsoever, because they come from the capsicum family, and the capsicums have no heat. If you dilute them down, you get to capsicum. So the units are kind of logarithmic scale. It tends to go quite high. So the Butcherlochia is around 1.2 million Scoville units. The orange habaneros, they're in the getting close to 500,000. The reds are about 350,000, and so the Trinidad scorpion was purported to top around 1.3 to 1.5 million Scoville units.
Which is the hottest chili that you have in your hand right now?
I would say it would be the Ghost Jolokia because it's ripe. The Trinidad scorpion probably not, because it hasn't fully ripened. And this interesting one here that I'm just about to talk about is a devil's tongue. No?
Very appropriate.
Very appropriate. Now this here is a devil's tongue. And I don't know whether we can see one ripening. There's probably one ripening between Bertie Sanchez's legs right now.
Yes, let's not go there.
Oh, there we go, that one's starting to ripen. You can see how they sort of go to yellow. Like that. Now this is another interesting hybrid. So it will be in the region. The person who gave me this told me it was a 10. Now a scale of hotness from 1 to 10 that happens with chilies is a bit of an arbitrary scale, because it's not directly related to your Scoville units, which is a scientifically derived scale, derived by scientific methodology. And so in that case you could pretty much call just about every chili I have in my hand a 10, but their Scoville units are vastly different.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't really know what the devil's tongue units are. Oops, there you go.
Well, Benelzebub, on behalf of the viewers here, I'd like to thank you for showing us through your chili garden. There are two questions that I'm sure the viewers would like to know. First of all, are you prepared to show us the other plantation you have in your ceiling? Probably not. Second of all, what I would like to see is, are you prepared to take a bite out of the hottest chili on the camera right now? The answer is yes. So you know. Take a bite of that.
Okay.
I think this is important. For those of you in Australia who've seen the footy show, you've seen the reactions of these people. We're about to see how Benelzebub goes with these extremely hot chilies.
This is a Butcherlochia, otherwise known as a ghost chili. I'm only going to bite a very small amount of this.
Harden up.
Because...
harden up, son of Satan. Harden up.
Yes, you don't want to... you don't want to go and damage any workplace health and safety rules.
I'm pretty sure the viewers here don't really care about workplace health and safety. Alright, he has taken a bite out of that. There is some in his mouth, I can verify that. that's quite pungent. There's a very strong aroma.
You can smell the active ingredients, capsaicin, and you can tell it's stopping my throat from working.
I can see that you're starting to shake as well, and there's beads of sweat appearing on his furrowed brow.
Now, the capsaicin, you can actually taste it, and you can smell it. Well, I don't know, but some of my body's closing down. And you can see why I opened it a little bit, because I'm already aware of how hot these chilies are.
We really shouldn't drink before we do these interviews, should we?
No, but we should drink right now.
I think we've got another minute.
Yeah.
Thank you once again for showing us through your garden, Benelzebub. Fantastic. Very knowledgeable man.
Well, that was very interesting, Mr. Benelzebub.
I'm glad you enjoyed that. It's quite a bit of a labour of love. Chili for everyone.
Indeed. Anyway, I think on that note, it's high time that we grab the trusty BB Barfly bottle opener and made an assessment. But once again, I must pass you a a glass, the Leffe-like glass, and I'll grab one here myself, and we'll pour this out. I'll just
Should I sit a bit further away?
crack this off. Actually, I think it was a twist top, looking at it now. Yeah. Gets me every time. Alright, so let's give it a pour. And in goes the chili pepper. Okay. Anyway, let's make an assessment of the appearance here. Well, the appearance is a slightly hazed, you know, golden yellow sort of appearance, with a very disappointing amount of head, just a fine ring, sadly. And I can see that Serrano chili pepper floating around there. The carbonation is very minimal too, surprisingly.
This is my Serrano out of the bottle. This is my Serrano out of the garden. Admittedly, this is a small one because we're in the wrong season at the moment, but they're definitely Serranos. This is definitely a Serrano that was grown maybe and picked a little early. It's a little green. They do go quite red.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're hotter when they're red, so you can actually eat them green. So this is actually not the super hottest. They could have brewed that red.
Alright, well, let's move on to the aroma. Oh, geez.
You can smell the chili.
You can smell the chili, alright.
But hang on. Yet?
No,
It's infused into the beer.
Yeah, it's definitely infused into the beer there. Yeah, just a very strong, you know, peppery aroma. Yeah. Gee whiz, I'm not smelling much else aside from that.
It takes, it does take over a lot of the aromas, and it's definitely like, it smells jalapeno-like for those of you who are probably more familiar with.
Yeah, it is very jalapeno-like. Yeah, it's almost smells like you know, the jalapeno, the green variety of Tabasco sauce, actually.
Yeah, or
green
maybe
Tabasco. Yeah.
If you've ever opened an old El Paso jar of cut jalapenos, it smells a bit like that.
Yeah,
I
true.
think actually, what do you reckon, Dave? What do you reckon when we get a bit of a jalapeno, maybe a Mexican kind of influence in this? What a bit of an expert opinion.
Do you wish to summon somebody?
I think I should. I think. Let me see.
Well, I think last time we missed out on, you know, you summoning somebody in the Brooklyn Oktoberfest beer review. So I think
Yes.
this time you should summon a Mexican character. Who will it be?
I think I know who we should go for. I'm going to summon Dirty Sanchez.
Dirty Sanchez.
Senoritas, good morning. Serrano chili, my friend. Very good, very good. Amateur's here. He's going red in the face. He doesn't like hot stuff. Me, I like hot stuff.
Alright, well, thanks for joining us, Dirty Sanchez. Anyway, it's time for the taste test, I believe. So, a huge cheers to you all.
Cheers.
Let's dive in.
Ay caramba.
Oh, yeah.
Had to be said.
Whoa.
Ay caramba, indeed.
Well, the
Ach du lieber.
the taste, you know, really does follow the nose here once again. You know, I'm tasting, you know, just a, you know, sweet malty, you know, American, you know, adjunct lager with, you know, a chili pepper, you know, infused in the flavour. And gee whiz, it just gives it a real peppery, spicy kick. Very interesting. Yeah, unlike anything I've ever tried before, as a matter of fact.
Can blow your horns off if you're not careful, senor.
I knew it would.
You must be careful.
I think some would perhaps label this, you know, a gimmick beer, but you know what? I think it'd go down really nicely at, you know, any Mexican restaurant. You know, I mean, you know, usually, you know, at your Mexican restaurants around here, it's just this real, you know, lousy selection of beers they have. You know, and obviously, you know, they'll have Corona on their, you know, drinks menu, and just a lousy selection of local beers. But gee whiz, if they had something like this, I think, you know, their patrons would, you know, really enjoy it. So anyway, Mr. Benelzebub, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is it's a light American style lager, as you're saying there, an adjunct lager. I'm not sure what it's adjunct to, but
It'd be like corn adjunct, yeah.
corn.
Yeah, yeah.
Because all Americans are corny.
Gee, I don't know.
It's a beer in a clear bottle. As soon as I see beer in clear bottles,
Oh yeah, I'm very apprehensive.
I get put off.
Yeah.
Because the UV
buy
light
them, yeah.
just gets to them. But this is definitely a chili drink that's got beer in it. It's not really a beer that's got a chili in it. It's the Serranos are a little bit hotter than jalapenos, but not quite as hot as habaneros. And you don't really get the heat out of this. It's not incredibly spicy. It's not going to burn you too much in your throat. But the flavour itself is very overriding. It's you pretty much can only taste chili.
Yeah, I don't think it's for any person that's got, you know, what I would call like a really bland sort of palate. I mean, they'd be overwhelmed by this. But
Yes, it's a very overwhelming taste. That's what you can definitely say there. It's I can see why they've put the green version of the Serrano in, as I was explaining before. Green Serranos aren't as hot as the red ones, and that's just maturation. There's not two different types. It would be very spicy and very overwhelming if they did use the red one. I think the lager itself, it's very, like, it's not an outstanding lager. It's by no means horrible. It doesn't taste bad or anything. You could actually, you know, quite easily drink it.
Yeah, there's nothing really offensive about it, but you know, there's nothing, you know, really outstanding.
Quite a fair bit of mine.
But yeah, I'm really, you know, just loving, you know, this, you know, chili infused like flavour. I just love the pepperiness of it.
Senors, before we rate this beer, you have had tequila, and you have had the worm at the end of tequila. In Mexico, you must chew that chili. Who out there want to see these boys chew chili? Yeah, off we go. Grab the chili, take a bite. You see his face go red, you see his face go redder. Off we go, boys.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh, it's crunchy.
And it's fizzy. Mine's got a head.
Wow. That's impressive.
I'm having the red one, my tongue on fire. I have to go.
Very nice. It complements this very nicely. I really enjoyed that. Anyway, what would you say in terms of its drinkability and sessionability?
Drinkability, I reckon, very drinkable. I think this is probably good on a cold night. I think also from the taste of this chili, most of it is infused into the beer. There's very little of it left. So this is just like eating capsicum.
Hey, don't tell the viewers that. Let them think that we ate this really hot chili pepper. And
It's
we're real
okay,
tough.
viewers, it's okay. I have a red one. These guys will go half in the red one. Snap in half. There we go. I just had some.
Now that's a different story.
This
Oh.
review might end shortly. Ay caramba.
Whoa.
I told you there's a difference.
Whoa. That's got a kick to it.
Now, drinkability. I think you could. It's quite a nice beer. I think it'd actually be nice on a really super hot day because the chili would make you sweat and keep you cool, and also it'd be good in winter to warm you up a bit if you didn't have any tequila. And it's marvelous how really hot chilies make you smile.
Yeah.
And but as for sessionability, I probably wouldn't go much over say half a dozen of these. It's not like a beer I could drink in large quantities. Even if I had a carton of it, I probably wouldn't drink the whole carton all at once. You know, I'd savour a few here and there. And
oh, that chili's really, really getting to me.
I don't know what you mean. The thing is too, with the chili taste, although it's moreish in its own way, it's something you'd probably get a little bit tired of. Yeah, you wouldn't want to sit down and just drink a carton of it. You know, like you'd be interspersing it with other beers throughout the week, I'd say. It appears I'm the only person out of the three of us who can keep talking.
Please, keep talking.
Well, the interesting thing is that they've used a medium hot chili here, and it's overtaken the flavour. Miss Dave, do you know of any other chili infused beers at all?
No.
Isn't there a Miller's one? No, there's not.
No, you're thinking of that Miller chill that's infused with
yeah, well,
lime
that's
and-
only half a chili,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's just a chill. There's no
Oh.
Yeah. So the whole idea is that, you know, when you come from the netherworld, you know, like hot is the name of the game. It's just natural. I personally don't know. But then again, like, I wouldn't recommend this to sort of beginner chili eaters. Although people who are quite avid fans of Mexican food, especially if they like their spices hot, those kind of people who go for death sauce or something, you know, they're going to be quite enamored of this. They'll think it's quite interesting.
What about fans of the red hot chili peppers?
No, they're mostly wet.
Anyway, we need to give this a score out of 10.
Okay. Dirty Sanchez, what do you think?
I say 10, senor, but only because I'm on a working visa and they're sending me back
Whoa.
if I diss this beer. This man, he cannot speak. It must be
Speechless.
good.
Yeah,
it is
that good.
I'm going to give it 7 as a beer, but I'm going to give it another 2.5 for novelty. Or actually a 2.7. Just, you know, you're tempted to say something like naff, like I'll give it 6.66 for a review, but realistically it's pretty naff to say something like that. Although, hey, why not? I just did.
Yeah.
I would go say 9.4, because if you're a numerologist, and for all the numerologists among us, in the studio audience there, The 9.4 is 13, so you can all have triskaidekaphobia there.
Senors, senoritas, this is a good beer.
Well, I
Bring
got
to
through
a
it.
Party.
I got
People
through
will
it all
drink
right. I'd probably be inclined to give it an 8 out of 10. It's interesting. It's certainly an interesting and unique brew.
It has a definite uniqueness.
Yeah.
If you take it to a party, everyone will try it.
Yes.
Everyone will try.
Yeah, you're quite correct, Dirty
Because
Sanchez.
of the chili.
Yeah.
And the worm. That's a different drink.
I should have worn
All
that
right.
too.
Well, anyway, I need to have like a tub of yogurt now to neutralize that, chili. Yeah, that burn that's happening on my tongue at the moment. That's making it very hard for me to speak. But what would we give it on as an average, like, score out of 10?
What did you give it? 10? I gave it 9.7 or 9.6, didn't I?
I gave it an 8, I believe.
It rates a 9.
9.4. You gave it 8. Oh,
Yeah.
That's going to be an even break at 9.
An even break at 9, you reckon?
Yeah. Definitely novelty factor.
Yeah, novelty factor to the extreme here, but yeah, certainly worth checking out just for that, novelty factor. And yeah, I mean, everyone's going to want to try it, if you take it to a party, as Dirty Sanchez said. So yeah, so a 9 out of 10 for Cave Creek Chili Beer. Anyway, that does bring us to the end of yet another SwillinGrog beer review. So until next time, fare thee well, all.
Proust.